Nowcast meteorologist Jim Vaughn.
Raleigh, North Carolina, welcome in. You have now entered the RDU Live radio show right here on Oak 93.5 WRLY, and I am your host, Cameron McCarty. I appreciate you for tuning in. If you're listening on the FM dial, you're in the car, reach over, turn us up, but make sure you're buckling up out there on the roadways. I know it's rush hour traffic out there on Glenwood 540. Wherever you're driving there, just want to make sure you're safe. And if you're watching on one of the streams, YouTube, Facebook, I appreciate you as well. Go ahead, put something in the comments. Let us know you're watching. And don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. They say it helps the algorithm or something like that. And wherever you might be watching it, I always like to say this is a call-in show. And that means when we're not playing music, those phone lines are wide open. And that phone number is 919-899-9305. That's 919-899-9305. Look, we got a jam-packed show for you today. We actually got someone sitting in the studio with us that I'm so privileged to be sitting across from. We have Mr. Marcel Anderson. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. It's so good to have you in here, man.
Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be a good conversation, man. It's going to be a good conversation. So before we dive deep into everything you got going on, if you've been listening to the show, you always know that we start the show off with something real, something relevant to the triangle of the world at large. And just today, I wanted to do a short little recap. You know, over the past couple of weeks, we've been talking about the Final Four and the NCAA championships. And NC State, my alma mater, we were privileged enough to have both the men's and women's basketball team in the Final Fours, respectively, and we didn't quite make it to the next level. But I just wanted to come on here and say, even in the loss, I still got your back. And we just want to say that we are proud of our teams, no matter where they finished at, no matter how it turned out. At least they went into the fight and they gave it all they had. And so even in a day like today, I still want to go woof. And if somebody out there wants to call and give me a pack, I'll be out here listening. Okay. All right. And then something else that happened this past weekend. This weekend was a big weekend for the Triangle area. There was a lot going on. And Dreamville Festival was here over in Raleigh, the Dorothea Dix Park. I wasn't able to attend. I had some other obligations, but from all the photos, the images, the audio, looked to be a really, really great time, a really great festival, great concert, all the above. And just wanted to highlight the positivity that it brings. On the show, we talk about economic impact and how things affect the local businesses, good or bad. And that's one thing that affected things in a very, very positive way. When you're looking at the big economy of North Carolina, and then also the local economy of North Carolina, all the tourism dollars, all the people that came into the city, the tax money, all those things matter. All those things matter. And just want to highlight the positivity. So shout out to all the good people at Dreamville, J. Cole and the whole team. And, J. Cole is just, the big name a part of it, but there's a whole team of people that put on festivals like that, from outside of the area as well as inside of the area in the Triangle. So kudos to Dreamville and the success for that weekend. All right. Okay. So now we got someone in the studio with us today. Today, Mr. Marcel Anderson. Once again, thank you for being here.
No, thank you for having me, man. I'm so looking forward to the conversation. Grateful to be able just to come in this dialogue and talk about music.
yeah, and that's what we do. So, to all the listeners that may be new to the show, this is the RDU Live show, and so it's based here in the RDU Triangle. It's a play on that, and so we try to talk to artists that are local to the area somewhat. Even though you might be a national singer, you have some local roots here.
Oh yeah.
As well as from the music scene to the local night scene to the economics of it all, the sports, just all of it coming together. And we just have these different conversations and talk about music, talk about life and everything. So you're a singer, vocalist, musician, right?
Yeah,
right?
vocalist.
Right? Vocalist. So just give us a little bit about who you are, what got you into vocalism and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, man. Thank you again for having me, Cameron. I'm actually originally from Spartanburg, South Carolina. So I was brought up in a home of 7 siblings, 7 of us total.
Wow.
We used to have a group called the Anderson Twins. So I was born and raised in the church. So I used to sing in the church choir, children's choir, mass choir. Since I was 8, I can remember when I was singing the first song, "Give Us This Day." So ever since I was 8, I haven't looked back and been singing ever since. That's where I got my grounds, my foundation in the church at the age of 8. As I mentioned, it was 4 of us, Anderson twins. So I have a twin brother who's a musician, and then 2 other twin brothers who's also a musician as well. So it was a family of many talents of singing and instrumentation. So yeah, it was great.
Where do you fall in line as far as youngest, oldest when it comes to that sibling thing?
Yeah, out of 7 of us, my brother is the baby, so I'm next in line.
Wow.
So yeah, he's the baby and I'm next in line. So
how was that? Because I talked to a lot of musicians and stuff, and I mean a lot of people get their roots in the church. Whether you're singing, musicianship, and all that good stuff. And so how was that when you're in the church, but you also have the siblings? You said y'all had like a band kind of thing. Was there rivalry, or was there we're all trying to help each other? How did that kind of go?
Yeah, just healthy competition.
Healthy
competition, no rivalry, because we all knew we had to be at the same place at the same time. So we had to create a space where we all was comfortable in presenting our talent in different atmospheres. So it was, I think that the most challenging thing, what more so a rivalry, is just getting us together to practice, understanding the discipline of practicing and coming together to rehearse the music before you actually get on the big stage. So at a very young age, we were conditioned and exercised to do that. So that was the most challenging thing. But when we got together, we figured it out and presented it well. Yeah.
So were your parents musicians and choir director kind of thing, or they just kind of saw you guys and wanted to do it for you?
Yeah, my father tries to sing, but my aunt, uncles had a group. My grandfather sung. My aunt was very known in South Carolina, Gaffney, South Carolina. My aunt Frances, my uncle Leroy. I'm just naming those names. They've actually transitioned, but they was very influential in our musical career. Watching them and seeing them, and them coaching us and talking to us about what to do, what not to do in the church, but also being influenced in other styles of music, like jazz and soul music. Even country music. I'm not saying country because I know we're talking about country a lot with Beyonce, but we were influenced in a lot of types of music, and it helped to shape who I am today musically. So.
Yes. Okay. So speaking of that, when you're talking about who you are musically, what is your genre of choice? What do you like to sing or like to listen to?
Yeah, it's interesting you asked that question because I've been reevaluating who I am as a vocalist, as a musician. I have 2 considered inspirational albums out. But currently, I've been in this space of neo soul, jazz, inspiration. So my genre is just good music that inspire people, to influence people to feel good about themselves. Again, neo soul. If I would have to really pinpoint a Pacific area, but just melodic sounds that embraces just a universal space of people just coming together and gravitating towards inspiration that I share through my language, through my messaging, through my content. So I believe it's just neo soul with a splash of jazz, inspiration. Even though I have 2 inspirational gospel albums out, I also did a cover tune of John Legend's music. So I had an opportunity to cover his music, but now I'm getting ready to release my first, I would say, secular album, neo soul jazz album. So again, being able to kind of separate myself from what I normally was brought up doing. This is definitely going to be new, but also different in a good way for me. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. That whole neo soul kind of culture. Sometimes, to me, I want you to educate me and the listeners on this. It feels like maybe in the last 5 years, you don't see a lot of artists in mainstream kind of really embracing that neo soul like you did back in the 2000s, like the Music Soul Childs and Anthony Hamilton's. Those artists now aren't really there. It's like a missing void that am I correct in that, or am I just not looking in the right place?
Yeah, I would say may not be looking in the right place. And I'm not saying that to say that you probably are aware of those artists. You just don't even know that they're there.
Yeah.
Underground artists that have been paving a way. They may not have gotten noticed mainstream wise, but it's a lot of underground artists such as myself.
Yeah.
Right. Many may not know who I am based off of, again, coming up in the church, but now making that transition into this space. They're out there. I mean, there's so much music that's out there in reference to different genres of music. Again, they may not be known for what they do, but it's a lot of neo soul artists that's out there that's paving a way for artists like myself.
Yeah, and you mentioned something there. I'm just kind of thinking as you're talking. Like I said, I've talked to a lot of artists, and a lot of them have roots in the church, right? And then you start talking about neo soul and jazz, and it kind of fuses together. And you're saying that you're about to make your first kind of secular album. Is that a hard transition to do, or how do you make the decision and kind of go through that in your career?
It's a good question. Yes and no. In the beginning, where I struggled with society socially constructed the norm. The culture socially constructed the norm of how I should be growing up in the church and what I should do and what I should not do. And I had to distract that. I had to reevaluate who I was in God and planting in my gifting. So I had to spend more time with me and who I was to really embrace the music that I love doing. So again, it was hard, just really changing my mind, transforming my mind, and realizing that this music is inspiring people, it's uplifting people. So it's not doing harm to anyone, even if it's called secular or if it's a certain genre. I believe it's just good music, it's good field music, inspiring people, to move people to come from one place to another, from old to new, from dry to fresh, right? From dry to, you know what I'm saying, to water. So again, that's how I look at it. That's how I view it. And I'm grateful to be able to release that from my mindset, or even from society, or even culture. Culturally is saying, hey, I'm supposed to do that for the rest of my life. But when you begin to get exposed to new territory and new opportunities, it's going to open up your mind, and that's what it did for me, to know that there's so much more out there than just this. And I appreciate you kind of digging into that a little bit, because I think that's a real thing. You know, I think that's a real thing, especially growing up in the church, or whatever you might be doing. Like you said, going from one place to another. You go through experiences in life, and things change, and it's not a negative change. You evolve. You know what's the difference between changing and evolution? Those kind of questions that you wrestle with, and musically you see that a lot. When people go to different genres or experiment with a different type of music, or find new inspiration. And it just so happens that that's the place that you're in right now. And so I appreciate you for going into that. I think it's a setup, man. For me, I think God set me up. I'll be honest with you. He set me up because now that I'm moving into this space, people reference my music, and they will always say, "Oh, I didn't know you did this type of music." And it was like, oh, I normally don't listen to it, but it has a meaning to it, it has a message to it. So now they're connected to the very thing that I was brought up on, but I never, removed myself from it, because it's always out there. Legacy is out there. They can always download that music. So when they type in my name, they see all of me, not just some of me. So even though this is where I am now, they still can see this side of me, and they are inspired by that. So I'm grateful that it was a setup for them to be able to still connect with my roots.
Interesting. I got a couple questions that I want to ask you about, like how do you write and how do you find those inspirations? But before we get to that, I want to let the people hear a little bit of something, about who you are. Just kind of hear who you are as an artist. So we have "I Choose Love, I Choose You." Okay. Is that one we can play for the people?
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
All right. You want to set it up a little bit?
Actually, it's a song I wrote on my brother's last album, and I had the opportunity to put it on my album. It's actually a wedding song. So for those who are looking to get married, you can actually download the song, but also book me to sing it at your wedding. So I Choose Love, I Choose You.
It says, "I Choose Love, I Choose You" by Marcel Anderson.
and my love for you burns like the sun. I could stay until the morning comes, and I never knew till that day that I give my heart away. But I place it all in your precious hands. The love was built so it would last. I cherish your heart as God intended. All the broken pieces mended by our love, and nothing will break us apart. I've never been more sure of a love that I long for. To forever I will choose love. To forever today I choose you. Do, 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 do. All of the words we've shared just tells me how much you care. I'll protect your heart and keep it close to mine. In your darkness I will be a light. Have some little ones, 2 or 3. I hope they favor you more than me, and I leave no room for you to doubt. It's your love that I can't live without. I cherish your heart as God intended. All the broken pieces mended by our love, and nothing will break us apart. I've never been more sure of a love that I've longed for. Till forever I will choose love. Till forever today I'll choose you. Have always been enough, with your smile and your sweet tender touch, and I dream of forever with you and I together. Till forever I will choose love. Till forever today I'll choose you. I've never been more sure of a love that I long for. Till forever I will choose love. Till forever today I'll choose your love. It's always been my cure. It's the wind that makes me soar. Till forever I will choose love. Till forever today I'll choose you. Ooh. 'Cause I choose you. Forever and ever. Ooh. I'll choose you. Oh.
That was I Choose Love, I Choose You by Marcel Anderson. Smooth, man.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, appreciate it. All falsetto.
Oh, man, that's smooth, man. That's smooth. I envy you, man.
Appreciate it.
Because you got kind of a tenor voice when you talk.
Yeah, it's a tenor
went,
voice. Yeah, depending on who I'm talking to.
Yeah, you went up there the whole time, man. That's a smooth track. So, hey, if you're just now joining us and you came in midstream, that was I Choose Love, I Choose You by Marcel Anderson. He's sitting in the studio with us right now. Hey, and when we're not playing music, when we're not playing those those smooth sounds by Marcel Anderson, those phone lines are wide open. And that phone number is 919-899-9305. That's 919-899-9305. So right before that track, we were just talking about, you kind of doing some secular things now, coming out with an album that's a little secular. Yeah. And that's just a term we use, but I wanted to kind of get into, like, we were talking about inspirations and motivations. And so do you write your own lyrics and that kind of thing? What inspires you? What kind of place do you have to go to mentally to kind of come up with these albums and records that you're writing?
Yeah, good question, man. I do write my own music. To date, I've written probably over 50 songs.
Wow.
And probably released at least about 35 of those songs.
Wow.
Publicly, you can download them online. But my inspiration comes from just my life story, the things that I've been through and things that people go through, conversations with brotherhood, talking to different people within my convoy, my circle. Yeah. Just being inspired by the things that happen in the world, man. Just really understanding that these things are real. So how do I make a connection to people when I'm writing these songs? How can I be authentic? How can I be real? How can I be relationable? How can I connect with them through the messaging and the content of what I'm writing? Because anytime I write, I want to write from the heart. I want to write from the soul. I want to write from experience and truthness. I want to speak truth to power. I want to be truth, and I want it to be influential, that people can really walk away saying, dang, hey, that was me in that song.
Yeah.
I can feel that. Or, man, okay, I see what my brothers went through. So I really write from those places. And I literally wrote a song before I came over here, because I have like two more songs I need to get on the album before the end of the week. Yeah. So literally just dialing in to just that space of just creativity. And then just going outside, maybe walking, looking at the sky, looking at the squirrels, looking at the trees, looking at the experiences that's happening around me, and just begin to write.
Did you write a song about the solar eclipse?
I did not. I actually missed it. I was asking somebody, I said, did it happen already? It's like, you're late. I said, okay, well, cool. But no, I haven't. But it may. I mean, it's a good thought.
No. And the reason I asked that, and you actually went into it before I could ask the question, is like, I'm always interested to pick people's brains about like their process. Like, do you have to go to the ocean to write, or do you have to turn off all the lights in your room and write, or do you have to write to music? Do you have to have the music track first, or can you just go with a notebook and sit under a tree and write? Like, how do you come up with it?
Yeah, it's very diverse for me. I can do all of the above. I can write to a track easy. I can write from inspiration. I can write from a song inspired by a song. I can write to just a conversation. I can write from a pen dropping. I can write for anything, just things that I can look at and see, or I just hear something in my head, or just any moment that I can connect with. I just write to it. So it's a diverse of things that inspire me to write. Yeah.
Interesting. And so a theme of this conversation that you're talking about is inspiring, being inspirational, having inspiration and being inspirational, whether it's secular or gospel, it doesn't matter, right? So a question I have, for you as an artist, from the writing process to the stage, which one do you feel more comfortable? Which one do you enjoy more? Seeing people connect with what you're saying, whether you're singing a cover or you're singing your own, is it that on stage, or is it actually, being in yourself and writing the inspirational lyric?
Of course, both. But when it comes down to it, being on stage and to actually seeing this moment come to life and to shine light on it, so other people can experience what I experienced in my private moment, now is a corporate shared experience. Now everyone is collectively coming into my world and get a chance to see what I experienced by myself. So now I don't rock with this by myself. Now it's a collective shared experience, and people now can decide if they like it or if they don't. If they want to put it on their playlist or put it on their shelf, but at least it's out there. It's in the public. Legacy has been created. Now that it's public, legacy is going to outlive me. So the fact that I get it out and I can publicize it, it outlives me. And now I know my children's children, grandchildren can hear it. My family can hear it, even when I'm gone. So that's the exciting piece about it. That when it's out, anybody can hear it.
Anybody can hear it. Yeah, that makes sense. I like to ask that question once again because, everybody has a different take on things. Everybody has a different take. And some people, being on stage is okay, but it's really, they find the catharsis in getting it out on paper. And that's why, you can find a lot of people who write and never see a stage. Likewise, you have people that's on stage that never write. And, it's interesting with people who can sit down with themselves and write and then go on stage and put on a show and perform. Do you consider yourself a showman?
Yeah, absolutely. At first I didn't. Before I just stand flat-footed and just sing in the mic. And then I realized the art of performing, the art as a musician, and understanding my influence is bigger than one spot. So I had to move and connect with the audience and really do more than just standing in one place and thinking that my vocals is going to lead me through a show. So my show changed drastically. I had to reposition how I presented myself in different atmospheres. So different atmospheres calls for me to present a different show. If it's an acoustic show, I'm not going to be loud. I'm not going to be moving. I'm going to be sitting down on a stool. I'm going to be, performing differently. But if it's, a wedding or if it's, a different type of a festival, so I'm going to be performing differently. But depending on the mood and the roller coaster of the music, it may stop, it may slow down, it may go fast. So again, depending on the atmosphere and the environment that I'm in, it may go a different way.
How long, you've been doing this for a long time. How long does it take you to learn that concept and how to be? I know you've been doing this since you were 8, so you just kind of, it's who you are. But if you're an artist trying to figure that out, and you're like, why am I not connecting, or why is my performance missing? What's a word of advice to that artist or musician or singer that's trying to figure out stage presence? I guess that's the word we're using.
Watch yourself, critique yourself, have others to critique you. Don't get offended by the criticism. Embrace it. Take it and learn from it. Move forward. It was a lot of heated conversations in a good way that caused me to get it right. I'm still in that space of learning and growing. The biggest room in the whole entire world is room for improvement. So I'm constantly improving myself. I'm constantly separating myself to elevate myself from the things that I thought were good, but they're really not, until I know that there's another level to this industry and there's another level to me. In order for me to get there, I have to, one, discipline myself. I have to practice, have to get around the right people, have to talk to the right people. I can't let everyone in my circle, and make sure that I'm constantly staying consistent in that very thing I say I want to do. Right? So in order to get those results, you have to stay consistent to get those consistent results. So I know I have to keep staying consistent in this industry. People are like, man, I see what you're doing. I see, because I'm staying consistent. You don't see what I'm not doing sometimes, and it's hard. But the things that you see me doing is because of the things you did not see me do has got me where I am now.
I like that. You said a couple things, and then we had Aaron McCoy on a couple months ago, and one of his things was consistency, persistency. I don't know if that's the word, persistency and consistency. Is key to a lot of his success. And you said something right then. You said the biggest room in the world is room for consistency. I like that.
Improvement.
I like that. I like that. So I got one more question for you before we play another track, and it's more of a concept question here. Is, we're talking about inspiration, we're talking about being on stage, and you connecting with people and them connecting with you and your words. When you're performing, and even when you're writing, I think I know the answer to this, but is it more about your catharsis and you putting yourself into it? Let's just take being on stage for a second. Or is it how the people feel?
Definitely me first, because I'm in position to share myself with the people, and of course they're always a part of that experience. But if I'm not right, the room's not going to be right. If I don't feel right, the room's not going to be right. And even sometimes I'm not right and the room is right, and they don't know, like, man, that was a great performance, but I wasn't right. But I still have to push myself through that process. So as right as I am, the right it would be. right? But if I'm not right, again, I'm struggling. They may not know it, but I'm struggling internally, and I don't feel good afterwards. But I just try to get myself in that mindset to continue to stay focused. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this conversation because you're really pulling. You're really getting down to like music and the essence of it. To me, you know, if you've been listening to the show, you know I have a couple running themes, and one of my running themes is music should make you feel something. Whether that's it should evoke emotion. That's how I usually say it. Whether it's a good emotion, bad emotion, it should make you feel something. And everything you've been talking about is that along that same line. You know, just inspiration and you know, changing different states and all that good stuff. So we're about to we're going to run another track from you, and it's Trust Me Again.
Trust Me Again.
Trust Me Again. You want to set this one up for us?
Oh, man. Have you ever lost trust in a relationship, female?
There we go.
And you're trying to beg her, you know, like, hey, if you just give me one more chance, just trust me again. I promise you everything is going to be okay. You know, you're sharing out your heart, you're sharing out your mind. And this one I wrote because, again, I messed up, and I was just trying to convince her to trust me again.
All right. Let's see how this goes. This is Trust Me Again by Marcel Anderson.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Can you just trust me again? My broke heart tells you just how it feels. If you can watch what I'll do, and I will show you that I am for real. I'm for real. I just need to tell you just how I feel. This time around, 'cause I'm praying and I'm saying, and I promise you I'm for real with what I say, with what I do. Listen to my words and my actions, 'cause they won't change. They'll stay the same my way. Can you just trust me again? My broke heart tells you just how it feels. If you can watch what I'll do, and I will show you that I am for real. I'm for real. Now you should see me for who I am. Believe in me, I'll put you first. Nothing and no one can ever come between us now, 'cause you changed my life. Let's make this right. Can you just trust me again? My broke heart tells you just how it feels. If you can watch what I'll do, and I will show you that I am for real. Then you just trust me again. My broke heart tells you just how it feels. If you can watch what I do, and I will show you that I am for real. I am for real. I'm for real. I'm for real. Trust me again. 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 I just wanna know, can you trust me? I just wanna know, can you trust me? Trust me, trust me again. Trust me again. Trust me again. Trust me again. Oh, trust me again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Trust Me Again. That was Trust Me Again by Marcel Anderson.
What you think?
Man, I like that track, man. Had to post it on social media. Had to do the social media thing. Man, that's a good track, man.
Thank you, man.
That's a good track. Is that going to be on the new album?
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be on the new album.
Javen Finch, man, is a great producer, man. I've been working with, man. He's producing a couple of tracks.
Yeah.
On the new album. Check him out, Javen Finch, man, on Instagram. Yeah.
Javen Finch. Hey, if you're just tuning in, you came in midstream. That was Trust Me Again by Marcel Anderson. We're here having a conversation, just talking about music, talking about life, what's inspiring us. We just talking. So, and if you want to get in on the conversation, please feel free. That's when we're not playing music. Those phone lines are wide open. That phone number is 919-899-9305. That's 919-899-9305. Don't be scared. We don't bite. We'll have a conversation with you. So look, we were talking kind of off camera a little bit about some things that you have going on. What do you got going on and coming up in the next, few weeks and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, man. So this week is a heavy week. April is Sexual Assault Child Abuse Awareness Month. So as a survivor, I do a lot of advocacy work around, sharing my story, but also just advocating for those who are survivors and going through the social issue. So this coming Thursday, free. It's a panel discussion addressing sexual violence against men in particular. We have 3 phenomenal guest panelists that's going to be there. I'm going to be facilitating that those guest panelists. We have Ryan that's going to be there, Majempsy. We have Ms. Othay is going to be there, and then we have Robert Marshall is going to be there. Who's going to be speaking about their experience and helping people to navigate through these experiences. And then Saturday, in my hometown, South Carolina, we have a 5K, annual 5K in my 9th year doing this. So we're going to be, again, just bringing light and awareness to the social issue.
Wow. Yeah. Do you run the 5K?
I do not run.
You do not run.
I run the 5K, but I don't run the 5K.
I hear you. No, man, I'm glad you mentioned that, kind of right there.
Yeah.
Is because I think that's so important. One, that issue, that concept of sexual assault, with children specifically, and then also specifically for males. One, the concept and the conversation needs to be had across the board,
absolutely.
right? But then, with males, I think there's a stigma.
Yep.
And there's a stigma, of course, with all of it, but even more so, there's a stigma with males, and then you get as you start to grow up, you have to be macho, and all these kind of things that hinder conversations.
Yep.
And we act like those things don't happen, but in reality, in real life, things happen, and I'm glad that there are people like you that are willing to talk about those things and be an advocate.
Yeah, 1 in 6 young men will be sexually assaulted before the age of 18.
Wow.
Yeah, those are the reported statistics. We're not talking about those who don't report because they're less likely to report because they're less likely to be believed, or they don't want anyone to know that they've gone through this ordeal. But if men report it more than women, we'll see an alarming increase in the statistics. But again, oftentimes we don't see it because due to the challenges that men face in these spaces. But we're all moving that needle, and we're doing our best here, locally and throughout the different states to be able to bring awareness and attention to it. So very essential to know that men, are not by themselves when they go through such an ordeal, such as myself as a sexual assault survivor. And again, going through that and trying to process that mentally, spiritually, socially, and emotionally allowed me to be able to come on the other side by writing the music. My 2 songs stem from me being a sexual assault survivor.
Wow.
I wrote those. I rewrote my album from the post of what I experienced. So if you hear the 2 albums that I went through, one is called Still Living, and the second part 2 is called Road to Recovery. Wow. So after you survive an ordeal, how do you recover from that? Because it's not over because you survived it.
Wow.
You still have to live through it. How do you do that? People don't tell you that. How do you navigate through the frustration and the challenges that you go through and still feel good about life? Therapy, counseling, talk to the right people. Not everybody. Talk to the right people. Make
Yeah.
sure that you get around good counsel spiritually for sure, but also again, this professionally. I think that's very central. Not just for men. This anyone in general who's going through something they feel like they can do it by themselves. No, they can't. Right? Because you have to deal with it before it deal with you. You have to address it before it address you. And when it addresses you,
It ain't pretty.
it ain't pretty. It may be too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So once again, the event that you have coming up.
Yeah.
Now, where is it?
It's gonna be in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Spartanburg, South Carolina is gonna be the YMCA Mary Black Rail Trail, 9 a.m. If you go to my website, marcelanderson.com, you can register still or be a sponsor, a donor. Again, I also run a mentoring program for African American young men ages 10 through 18. So this is a fundraiser to support the programming that we're doing, and we're launching some new programming in the fall. So we're excited to be able to support the work that we're doing constantly within our mentoring program.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. How long have you been doing the mentoring program?
10 years. We just celebrated 10 years in March.
10 years.
10 years.
10
yeah.
years. And is that based in the Triangle or is that based back in
right here in
Spartanburg?
Raleigh? Right here in Raleigh.
Wow.
Yep, did it for 10 years here in Raleigh. And before I did that, I was an educator for 6 years. I have a license in special education, undergrad degree in psychology. I have a master's in human behavior. So I studied, that space where, again, why do people do the things they do? I never get it answered, but I studied it, right?
Right.
It's the evolving door that's constantly the question is constantly being asked. But again, those are things that I experienced before I actually started my mentoring program.
Wow. Wow. So congratulations, on 10 years.
Appreciate that, brother.
That's huge.
Thank you.
That's huge.
Thank you.
Where can people find more information about that real quick?
Acceleratingmen.org. Acceleratingmen.org. ACCELERATINGMEN.com. Go to our website. We're doing some revamping and we're doing some brand refreshing, but we have the generic content that's available. If you go to our Facebook, go to our YouTube, you'll see a lot of things that we have going on in supporting African American men in particular to help them navigate through their identity, character development, self-esteem awareness, spiritual formation, leadership development, really help them to become all who God has called them to be.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. And if you're listening on the radio, and even if you're on the stream right now, if somebody hasn't already done it, after the show, we'll go in and put the links up under the stream so that people can find that information if that's okay with you.
Perfect, man. Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's a big deal. That's a big deal, you using music to inspire people is amazing. But then also having programs that do the work takes it to a whole different level.
Yeah.
And that's much, especially when you're addressing issues, that are real, that are real, that can be considered heavy.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And then you have I'm learning now. You have the background to do so. You have a master's in this whole concept here, and so that's what this whole show is all about, to showcase people like yourself and all the facets that you are. We had a couple other artists on before, and we were having this conversation about there's more to the person, right? And we were saying we were having a conversation about you're a musician or you're a singer. Marcel Anderson is a singer. That is very true. That is 100% correct. But he's also XYZ, and there's just so many layers to any human being, and being able to explore those different layers and to connect with those different layers, I think that takes everybody to a different level.
Yeah. When you experience what I experienced, you're going to explore. Well, you may not have the capacity, but I would just say I had to explore because my life was on the line. When you held gunpoint, handcuffed, blindfolded, and so I want to tell you that if you do everything you tell me to do, I may live. And then all of a sudden, you're sodomized with a pole 50-something times, and then you're forced to live with a colostomy bag for 4 months and hospitalized for a month and not knowing if you're going to make it. When you wake up and you realize that life is not promised, and you realize your keyword explore, I started to explore the many other things that's inside of me, and I said, I will not die empty.
Wow. That's real. That's real.
Not today. Not on my watch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah. That takes some strength, man.
Yeah, very difficult, man. Very challenging. Case in point, why this album came out, Trusted Love Relationships, it was difficult for me to trust God,
yeah.
people, and myself. So how do you trust God, yourself, and other people after you're going through something so traumatic? So I said, let me write about it. Let me write about how I feel, because I feel like this was a part of my healing. This was a part of my transformation. This was a part of my, my next level. So I wrote about it. In this album, you're going to hear how to trust and to love in relationships again.
Wow.
After you're going through hell.
Yeah. And I think, once again, I love music and I love, artists, because I feel like artists have a different take on life a little bit. And for me, when I listen to things, one, evoking emotion, but I might not have the exact same experience, but all experience is relatable. It may not be to the same degrees, but you still have to learn how to trust when you go through something. There's still a recovery period. When you lose someone in life, we're all going to lose somebody. That's the way it works. And you have to figure out how to recover and move on. And so, I look at, when people like yourself take on that mantle to expose themselves and really write and really expose themselves and be vulnerable with other people at large, and that's so valuable.
It's a vulnerable.
It's vulnerable. It's
yeah.
vulnerable.
Transparency. Being, like I said, exposed, using that word again, and to script yourself, and rid yourself of what people will say, how people will view you. That's why you have to be very secure in yourself. You have to know who you are before operating your purpose. That's why we focus on identity development. We also make sure we focus on checking ourselves before we wreck ourselves. We don't move past the checkpoint if we don't have the things we need. If you know good and well that you come to a checkpoint and your light is out, and the cops tell you, get your light fixed, and you still driving, it's your fault. Even if you don't have the money, ask somebody to get your light fixed. Basically, I'm saying ask for help.
Ask for
when
help.
Something is wrong in your car, in your life, right? I'm just using an analogy. Ask for help. Get help so you can get it fixed. Wow.
Are those the kind of tools and principles that you kind of
absolutely
use?
We have a identity development module. We use the psychosocial theory. It's the identity development. It's the 8 stages of the psychosocial theory of Erik Erikson model. So again, we use that to help individuals to develop a sense of awareness and become in tune with where they are.
Wow. Okay. So I just want to dig in just for a second here. So the programs that you have, you're actually coming from a knowledgeable standpoint with modules and really guiding and helping young people, whoever along the way, right? Okay.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. Interesting. And you said it's your program specifically is for males ages 10 to 18.
So it's interesting that you said this is my first time we're announcing this. We have did a brand refresh. So starting in the fall of 2024, we're going to be supporting young and adult males ages 10 through 24. Wow. We're going to be focusing on identity coaching, identity development, and we're also going to be doing parenting workshops, because a part of our mentoring program cohort, we have a parenting model that we support our parents as well. So we're going to be advancing our program. We have different tracks that individuals can come on and be a part of. So we'll be focusing on trauma recovery, males who have gone through the same thing I experienced. And now we have the monthly small groups where men can just come and just talk and to express themselves. Even if you haven't gone through that, if you're going through something, we're going to have a safe and trusting environment where you can be able to plug into this outlet and receive the energy that you need in order to light up your gifts. Yep.
Wow, that's so needed, man. That's so needed. Once again, especially for males, and once again, anybody. I'm not trying to say, one needs help more than the other. It's just the way that our society is structured sometimes. Males in that particular arena don't get the help and or scared to say something because of the pressures that are on them. And having places and spaces that one, they can talk, but also hearing what you're saying, it's a place that they can talk and get that energy, but also get some real tools to help move forward. That's a big deal.
Yeah, it is, man.
That's a big deal.
A lot of work.
How do you manage it? How do you manage your time and doing all of these things? How do you do
That's a good question, man. I'm constantly reevaluating and doing my best to discipline myself to compartmentalize the things that I do, a calendar, structure, discipline. It's still not always easy.
Yeah.
Because this is just a tip of the iceberg of the things that I do. So again,
Right.
It's just managing what I do and making sure that I don't overwhelm myself. Take breaks when needed, sleep when needed, take vacations when needed, and be able to talk to the right people when needed. So just really organizing my mind and my thoughts, my spirits, and constantly having the right people in your circle.
Yeah, right. You've mentioned that a couple of times, and we're getting to the bottom of the hour. But you say a lot of great things, just in this conversation. But you mentioned a couple of times having the right people in your circle, or talking to the right people, not just anybody. You said that a couple of times. And can you dig into that just a little bit about? I mean, of course, we know have the right people, but yeah, go ahead.
It's simple, man. It's not that simple, but bad company corrupts good character.
Yeah.
Bad company corrupts good character. I'm not just saying people, the company that you have. I'm talking about the influences that you watch, media, things that you put in your psyche. I mean, just the company that you keep. It can be TV, it can be music. Again, it can be anything that's in your space that can corrupt your character. And if you can get too much of that, it can contaminate you. It can cause you to come down. So how do you analyze and evaluate the things that you need and you don't need? I mean, just a script, things you need, things you don't need. How do you evaluate those things? And that's by going through things and then realizing you don't want to go through that again. So when do you stop and say, I don't want to go through that again, and I can't hang out with him anymore? I can't do that anymore. It's not easy, but when do you get to that space or place to say, I can't do that anymore. I can't go down that path anymore. I got to discipline myself. I got to stay in the studio a little bit longer. I got to write. This is an investment. Once I make that investment, I know that's going to be a greater return at the end. Yeah. Right? Yeah.
And what is the first thing you said? It's something influences character?
Bad company corrupts good character.
Bad company corrupts good character.
Yeah.
Bad company corrupts good character.
Biblical proverbs.
Yeah. Then the other one from earlier on in the show, you said the biggest room.
For room to improvement. Room for improvement.
It's room for improvement.
Yeah.
I mean, these are nuggets. These are nuggets. He's giving it to you for free, people. He's giving it to you for free. I appreciate, once again, I keep saying the same thing, but I appreciate, you giving these words of wisdom and then you're also putting it in the music.
It's all in the music, man.
You're also putting it in the music. So when's the next time you playing a gig or you're doing anything around?
Yeah, man. I actually head out to California this Sunday. Sunday, preparing for Dave Coss cruise. Wow. So I'm excited to be able to be selected as a up and coming artist in the jazz industry. Yeah. So I'll be going to Turkey, Athens, and Sicily, Malta, all those places
doing
for about
2 European
weeks.
cruise.
Gotcha.
Yep. Yeah.
So I'll be going for about 2.5 weeks. And then when I come back next week, my next show will be Seven Springs. If you do not know what Seven Springs Winery is, you definitely want to go. Saturday, April the 20th, myself and Something for the People. You can go to my website right now. They still have tickets. I'm sure VIP is already sold out. But MarcelAnderson.com. Go to, of course, go to my website. It's a soul festival. So I'm going to have my band there. Something for the People is going to be there, closing out. But you definitely don't want to miss that. It's going to nothing be but soul music, vibes, straight energy. It's going to be there.
A soul festival.
Soul festival.
Seven Springs Winery.
Winery. On April the 20th, starting at 3 p.m.
And they can find this information
on my website.
Just in case at MarcelAnderson.com.
Yep.
MarcelAnderson.com. They can find where they can go to the Soul Festival.
Soul Festival.
Yeah. Man, that's I've always admire people that that are putting on festivals and stuff like that. That's a lot of work, man.
It is a lot of work. Yeah.
It's a lot of work. And you got something going on this weekend. You're going over to Europe, and then you're coming back and doing a show.
And then the tour starts. Trust and Love Relationship Tour starts. Yeah.
Okay, so you got a whole tour putting it. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got a tour. I'm going to have a listening party here in Raleigh, and then I'm also going to be performing at Bonds Brothers this summer. We're going to be doing a listening party.
Yeah.
So we got a whole tour.
Bond Brothers East Side?
Yep, East Side. Yep. Going to be there. And some other places that'll be on my website that we'll be announcing in the next couple of weeks. So we got a whole tour, man, that we're traveling this new album. I'm going to be releasing my new single called Better Days off the new album, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah. No, man, you got a lot going on. Every time I hear it in a good way. That's amazing, man. You gave me some merch here. We got Still Living the book, and we got Road to Recovery, the album here. So that can the people find this
on my website?
On your website,
marcelanderson.com. Go to my website. You can purchase the book. That's my first book. My second book is coming out this year, Road to Recovery. Again, overcoming a traumatic experience, and I'm excited too. Which is pretty much done. I've actually turned my albums into musical workbooks. So a lot of people always ask me, say, hey man, I want to know more about your lyrics. I said, okay, all right, let's talk more. And it was like, man, it stopped. I said, but there's more to it than you actually know. So I put all my lyrics in a book, and it's in a workbook, musical workbook, where they can work through my lyrics, and then again, they can share their experience at the end and write their own song as well. So I'm creating that space. It hasn't been done before. If it has, please let me know. I'm not saying it to say that. But I think I would kind of be pioneering this space. It'll be coming out this year. All of my albums that I've released are going to be musical workbooks. So it's going to be volumes. Yeah. So it's already done. So I already wrote the lyrics. So now I'm just turning them into workbooks. You just got
to put the workbook in.
Yeah.
Man, that's amazing to hear. We're getting to the bottom of our hour, man, and I'm so glad that we were able to dig into all that you got going on, so that people can see the musician and the other parts that you have, man. I appreciate you for being on. And if you're looking for more Marcel Anderson, just go to marcelanderson.com. And we're going to be putting some links up under these streams, just so, for reference and all that good stuff. But I appreciate you for sitting in with us, man.
Thank you, brother, for having me, man. I really appreciate this. Thank you.
This is a great conversation. Look, we're going to be signing off of here in the next minute or so. Before we get off of here, have to say CJ Baker, he was our first guest on the show. If you've been listening to the show, we shout him out all the time. They're starting back their open mic over at the Durham Beer Company every Tuesday, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. So tonight, don't meet me there, beat me there kind of concept. The Durham Beer Garden in Durham, North Carolina, of course. CJ Baker and the crew, they'll be over there. It's an open mic. And then before the open mic, they always have a featured artist of some sort. I think tonight is Something for the People. Okay. And then after that is the open mic jam session. So bring your instrument, bring your vocals, bring your poetry, whatever you got. Good people, good vibes. So don't forget about the open mic, CJ Baker and the crew, shouting them out.
Can I give away a book? I know you said, I don't know if it's time for a caller to call in, but
yeah. Go ahead.
If a caller call in, can I give the first caller to call in? Can I give away a book?
Yeah, you can. If somebody's gonna be calling in the next
5 seconds.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit of a sign off just to give somebody a chance. Yeah. If you're still listening and you would like a book, go ahead and call in. Go ahead and call in right now. You got a couple seconds. I got to sign us off here in a bit. So don't forget CJ Baker's open mic night. Don't forget marcelanderson.com. He's got a festival coming up. He's got a tour coming up. If you happen to be over on a cruise ship in Europe, you might see him. But don't forget to go and check out everything he has going on. Look, the producer in the background is starting to throw spitballs at me. I got to get out of here. Y'all have a safe evening. This is Cameron McCarty with McCarty.Tech TV, the RDU Live show right here on Oakland 3.5. And like I like to say, let's go live.
Community Radio, WRLYLP, Raleigh.